Hey everyone, welcome to Realty Life, my podcast where I get to meet really interesting people that I've known for a while. Some of them I haven't known, and I get to talk to people from all different types of industries, all different genres, not just about their work, but about really the focus for me has always been about getting behind the scenes of what's going on in their life, how they get through their life, and what makes them who they are today. I have a lot of fun doing it. I'm really blessed to be able to do this. So today I have a really good friend of mine that I've known for, I think I first met this guy golfing at an actor's studio, some type of thing, which I don't even know the name of it. We'll find out in a minute. But it was, we won the tournament several years in a row, not because of my skills, but in spite of my skills. But I'm blessed to have him in my life, not only in my professional real estate life, but in my life as a friend and a mentor and someone I can count on to be there for me. And I'm really excited to have Jean here. So Jean Pearson, welcome to my program.
Well, I thank you for having me, Kenny. I love you. So you were at our ACTRA fraternal. We were
That's what it
raising
is.
money for
Yeah.
the ACTRA funds with the DGC, the Directors Guild of Canada. I was far from real estate then. You came because we needed a fourth player. And this is like 23, 24
It's
years
a
ago.
long time ago, isn't
It's
it?
a long time ago.
And I
And we
remember
hit
I
it
made
off.
one special shot that actually won us the tournament. It's all I did all day. You guys carried us to get us there. But I closed my eyes and you guys hid behind me, looked the other way.
I
And I
know.
hit it and it made it sad and we won. We got these leather jackets. Anyway, that was a lot of
On a
fun.
par three.
Yeah, and that's where I got to meet you, which was a blessing for me. So who are you? Who are you, Jean Pearson?
Oh, that's
Tell
a
me
good
about you.
question. I think I think it takes a lifetime to understand who we are. Same here. I'm glad that you're inviting me so I can share with your audience how you impacted my life throughout the years. Almost 3 years ago, we were at the office and you brought to me, you asked me first of all, no, we were at the office, we went for lunch, and then you said to me, do you know Marcus Aurelius? I said, yeah, yeah, vaguely. He said, I have something for you. And then the second question is, are you doing any journaling? I said, journaling. I used to do journaling like years and years ago. So we can get back to that. But that episode really had a huge impact. It's going to be 3 years now that I journal every single morning. And I have a copy of Marcus Aurelius Meditations book and in my journal. And I write down a lot of stuff, like many people are doing. But to be more precise, I grew up in Vis Saint Laurent, Quebec, so my background is francophone. I came to Toronto about 39 years ago. I used to come to Toronto to film. My background, as you know, I'm an actor. I've been an actor for almost 50 years. So I used to fly to Toronto to come and do commercials and all sorts of jobs. And I remember, people may remember this that are in my vintage. And there was a commercial for Freedom 55, London Life. So I'm the guy on the sailboat that says, I'll be retiring like my dad in the background.
I remember.
And the director said, you should come to Toronto. You will work for sure. So I took his word and I came to audition many, many years ago. And I decided to. He said, my cousin's an agent, so I signed up. But I met with his cousin. I signed up and I started auditioning. I was getting everything because a new face in town. This is the Toronto. Then people were very curious of somebody new. They didn't want to miss an opportunity, so there was no preconceived judgment. So
Mhm.
this is a good important thing to remember.
So, John, how did you get into acting, though? I mean, did you just wake up and was your family in acting? Was it, how did
Not
you
at all. My dad,
play?
when I was 18, 19 years old, I left home really early. And right after high school, in those years, I didn't want to go straight to CEGEP, which was just before university. And I decided I had a friend that was living in California. And I just left on a song, Take a Walk on the Wild Side, Lou Reed. I bought a motorcycle and said, okay, I'm going to go to LA.
So
I
wait a
didn't
minute.
even, I
How,
didn't,
how
it
old,
was an adventure trip.
how old were you then?
I was 18 turning 19.
So you got a motorcycle. You said, I'm take a walk on the wild side. I'm going to, what year was this? Remember?
1976.
So lots of changes, music, arts, a lot of stuff going on. And you just grabbed your motorcycle and took off.
Now I grabbed the motorcycle and I said, oh, no. I had just bought the motorcycle and so I
Okay.
still had some marbles up here. So I said, no. I said, no. If I do this, I'll die for sure.
You kill yourself.
So I returned the motorcycle.
You
I
did?
bought a plane ticket and I flew to
I love
LA.
it.
And then I bought a motorcycle, the Hollywood Dream, 160cc with the big, and we didn't have helmets there in
Okay,
Los
wait.
Angeles.
I want to get the stage set. So you fly to California, you
Yep.
buy a motorcycle. Did you have friends there? Did you have?
I had a friend, so when I arrived, I had was on a piece of paper the address of my friend, and I didn't contact him at all. I didn't have any, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have anything.
No.
His family gave me his address. So I took a cab from the airport, and I will always remember the cab driver looked at me, and I was very green, young man, and landing in LA, he says, "Okay, just remember one thing, son. Don't trust nobody."
Wow, that's good advice coming from the airport.
I'll skip all the episodes because
Yeah.
you saw me arriving with my big pack-sack across the pool, and he played a number on me and had some friends
So
there.
you're in LA.
Yep.
You're fresh out of Quebec, right? And you're just there to have the adventure, right?
Yes, but he was in acting school, and I was
That's the
very
connection.
hungry to find anything to do.
Oh.
So I'm in Hollywood, very, very, I didn't join a theater group in high school. I just wanted to escape home and do something different. So I discovered acting. So acting, that's
Your friend.
pretty cool. They all have big homes, all the stars. I want that. So it's really, really innocent.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember joining the school he was at. And my first play, A View from the Bridge by Arthur Miller, and I played Rodolfo, the young kid.
How was your English, Jean? How was your English at the time? Because
It was functional. It was
your
good.
primary language, right?
Yes, it was. And not as good as today, but it was to play in Italian. It was great. So I had some sort of an accent, and I don't know if they knew it was Italian.
Okay, so you're in LA, and you're 18, 19, and you're acting school, you get the odd gig here and there. And what happened?
Then I came home, finished my CJEP, and
What is CJEP? What's that?
CJEP is like college.
Okay, got you.
And there's 2 years of college before in Quebec before entering university.
Okay.
So I finished that, and but I had already started in industry, working in radio stations, working at CBC International, and journalism. I was doing everything possible to be in front of the camera or behind a microphone, and that's how it started. And I took courses. I was very driven. I wanted to make it, and
you got the bug.
I got the bug, and
as your LA,
it was difficult. It was not just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It was really innocent, the idea that I had about,
Well, you didn't know. Did you know any limitations to it? Did you know that?
No. Limitations were not when you're a kid. You don't think of it. That's something you start thinking when you get older.
Is your friend still in the business? Your LA friend?
Yeah, he became a really well-known in his field, not in acting, but doing lighting for huge shows. He did Celine Dion. He did like major
So he was in
shows.
the industry still, doing it. So you're back in Quebec, you're doing your thing, and somehow, this I know about you, you end up in Tokyo.
Oh, this was a little much later.
How much later was that?
That was in 1994. In 1994, I was in Tokyo with Le Cirque du Soleil.
So from the 80s and early 90s, you're working in Quebec as an actor in front and behind the camera?
Yes.
Correct? And that's how you made your living?
That's how I made my living. I came to Toronto in 87.
87.
So I came to auditions in Toronto, and like I mentioned earlier, that was the start. But before that, I was in Quebec doing the odd jobs. Because
So
the
it's not
community of
unusual. Yeah, it's not unusual. Sorry, it's not unusual for you just to pick up and make drastic changes in your environment, going to LA, moving to Toronto. We're going to talk now about you living in Tokyo with Cirque du Soleil and doing that for years. And so you were patterning, your pattern was not to sit back, your pattern was to actually embrace what was in front of you, right? To take changes.
absolutely, because it taught me that, and that's why I was having a hard time planning.
Mm-hmm.
It was very hard to plan anything because my life on a phone call
Would the wind would go? Yeah.
would change completely. You know, I would do something, be on a lake, go fishing. I remember up north with a friend of mine who we had our little pagers, and the minute the pagers rang, oh my goodness, that's my agent.
Yeah, yeah, the gig.
So we found our way to the phone booth, call the agent. I have to be in Toronto. When? Tomorrow morning. Okay. Bang.
Yeah.
So
So
yes,
you
you
just
need to
yeah,
adapt it.
you were the whim of what was going on, and that's really the life you had. And so in '94, you ended up in Tokyo. And how long did you live there?
Almost a year
Yeah, it was just a Cirque du
in a
Soleil thing. And
five-star hotel. Yeah, with the Cirque du Soleil. I had nothing to do with the Cirque du Soleil actually. It
what did
was
you
the
do in
woman I
Tokyo?
was with who was the lead singer. What I did, well, I created work. I started coaching some of the people in the peripheral who needed this, some acting skills, conversations. But what I did that I really, really enjoyed, I was helped a group, Tamlatera, Dendereden, something like that. A group of Japanese musicians, there were two or three who were playing old instruments, medieval instruments, and they had a singer, and they were prepping a show to go and to the Festival de la Naudière. It was a musical festival that was happening in Quebec. So
Wow.
it was easy. So I was introduced to them to help them because they only spoke Japanese and they really wanted to make an impact. So I worked with them for about a month and a half in prepping them to, not musically, but to interact
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
audience
Yeah.
and what they would like and all this. And so we have a poet in Quebec, Félix Leclerc, who was really well known, one of our amazing poet. And he had a song that went like, Moi, mes souliers ont beaucoup voyagé, so myself and my shoes have traveled a lot. So I had the singer rehearse, learn that song. And the music, in no time, they had the music score and they played it. And they made such an impact that it made the news because the Quebec audience
Loved
were
it.
like completely floored when they heard that. And also the interaction with the public and all this in
Yeah.
French. But it taught me how committed they were and how hard they worked. And I learned a lot from that.
So moving forward, you end up back to Canada, Toronto. You continue your acting business. You're very successful. You played a lot of different movies and different voiceovers and things, and you still do to this day. And it's a major part of your life, correct?
Yes. I actually have a movie coming out at the Carlton on November 7th, and a TV series coming out on CBC French,
Yeah.
same in November
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, so I never quit.
So
It's my
again,
life.
taking another leap into real estate. Okay, so
That's your fault.
so you have a very good career, and you still have a very good career as an actor in front of and behind the scenes. And you make the decision to, for whatever reason, to get into real estate. And tell me why. How did that happen?
The light bulb. So when we met some 22, 23 years ago, 24 years ago, following that, I remember you said you should be an agent. You just said something like, you should be an agent. I was like, you're just talking about you should be an agent. I'm an actor, man.
I
And
rest my case.
I rest my case. So I ended up doing a movie in Prague, The Prince and Me, with
Yes, I
Julia
remember.
Stiles. And we were at a hotel. My wife was pregnant, actually, she early pregnancy, and I was not there for the echograph, so when
Ultrasound?
the ultrasound, the
Yeah.
first ultrasound, and I I remember vividly, she sent me a fax at the hotel because we didn't have emails. And I saw this little,
Yeah. Your daughter.
my daughter, Ava. And then I had an epiphany. I'm like, oh my God, what if this stops? I'm going to be a dad. And I became like, okay, I got to find something else. That's how it started. This basically, I remember like it was yesterday. And I took my course in real estate, and oh my goodness, I hadn't been in school in years.
It's a
It was
change, isn't
tough.
it? Yeah, it's a change.
Yes. And
Yeah.
people said, "You're an actor. You're gonna be great." I said they had a misconception of what an actor is about. We had
We
zero
do, don't
skill
we?
in business. First of all, I had zero skill in business. I always had an agent that
Yeah.
looked after me. I just showed up for the performance.
Well, you had, if I remember the process a lot, was that Deborah Bain was mentoring you at the very
Yes,
beginning,
that's funny.
and to this day adores you. And she tells the story about having you with her at open houses and the time you spent together. It's just a joy to her life to see you today. I know that. And it's fun to see the transition from you, a brand new agent, and how you've combined your life, all aspects of your life, your acting, or your work you're doing as a great realtor, the connections you have in this industry, the growth you've had in this industry. And let's add another layer or two on top of that. Your work you do in the community to raise money for different causes, which are really near and dear to you and to all of us. You do a lot of work with that through your cycling, a lot of stuff you do. And I want to get into a bit now about changes in our life and how we deal with changes, and how you did touch on it a little bit at the beginning of this podcast about the introduction to meditations in Marcus Aurelius. And for clarity, the book Marcus Aurelius, to me, that he wrote Meditations, which is his life, his diary, basically, has made a tremendous impact on my life. And I find that it is a book that I read every day, and I make notes on every day. And I probably have gone through it, I'm going to say 20 times. I don't know what the number is. I will go 20 times, 20 more times through the book every day, reading it. I don't read a lot every day, but I read it enough to get impacted by it. And the change that it made into my life, for my life, and how it made me deal with the different changes that are happening in my life and the realities that are happening in my life. And I've been fortunate enough to talk to you about that and the impact that it made on me. I guess it was an occasion that we had that I mentioned it to you. I didn't start the day saying, I'm going to talk to Jean about meditations. It was just in our conversations that we had about things that I think you might have asked me about, what I was reading, what I was doing, the things that impacted me. I don't know what it was, but I got to share what made a difference to me. And I want you to go a little deeper, if you can, about meditations and what it means to you, and his words, and the changes that have happened to you because of your work that you're doing every day, if you wouldn't mind.
That's a great question, and it's a very good question, and you're touching basically the base of everything in everything we do. What I've learned through my life, and I think what Marcus Aurelius and the meditations provided me in the journaling was a framework to understand how inner peace, being in touch with your authentic self, was important. Past is past, the future. I wake up in the morning and there's tons of stuff, that's coming up. Meditation's just the word itself. I started to do this writing down meditation, but it has the form of a letter. Sometimes it has a form of just a way of catching my breath. And I know you've experienced that too, where you're writing, something's upsetting you or clouding your mind, and you go like, at some point you go like, I get it. I get it, right? And that is the essence. And that takes away a lot of the fear. And for me, as an actor, there was no other place more important to be than in the present and in the listening mode. There's nothing. You have to be absolutely 400% present when you're doing a scene to know what's going on in your partner, scene partner's eyes, or things happen. But to transpose this in real life, in other circumstances, for years and years and years in real estate, I was afraid of making mistakes because of the impact. You make a mistake as an actor, okay, we'll do it again. But in real estate, I was, don't, be careful, watch yourself, watch your back.
Consequences
You'll
are
get
big.
sued. The consequences were huge. So it's only when I started to do this writing, and this will apply to anything, the fear started to fade slowly. And the inner peace, connecting with my inner peace, that deep breath, became more and more often and more accessible quickly. And then I became more present. So that's how impactful this Roman emperor of 2,000 years ago that left some notes, and you're
Can you
it's still,
imagine? Yeah.
yeah.
It was, I think we talked, and I know we talked about, because I relayed to you my experiencing in journaling. And I think I might have said to you, Jean, that it was important to be unfiltered for me, to write, not trying to understand what I was writing, but just to write whatever was in my pen, in my hand, in my mind, and to let it flow and to enjoy that process of letting it flow and learning from that at all times. And for me, journaling has always been about talking to myself, basically, and
Yeah.
understanding myself better. And I think that without journaling without having journaling in my life, the stress of my life would have been perhaps more overwhelming at times. I would have been more prone to get within myself and to get overcompensate for ideas and stresses and whatever you want to call that. So I can't tell you how important it has been for me to have journaling and meditations in my life, Marcus Aurelius, to learn from the words that he put down so many, many years ago, and to actually process that into my own thoughts and my own words, and how that made me deal with any problems that I may or may have in my life at the time. And it's been so impactful on me. And I've been with you when you've spent your mornings. We've been on trips together and spent your mornings with your book, and you do it by hand, pen.
Thousands of pages and
Yeah, and I
that I
do.
have to
I do.
transfer
Everybody does
somewhere.
it differently. I do it on a computer program because I can't. My arthritis bothers my hand writing, and that's just what it is. I used to do it by hand, but I have to do it every day. To me, that's part of my pattern. Every day is my discipline. I have for the first hour of my morning, it's constantly the same, no matter where I am. It has to be the same, and it's really important to have that. And the impact that it's had on my life and the direction of my life has been so profound on that. So I think you've had that experience as well, right?
Well, you notice the small little changes, right? We don't observe ourselves except for the fact that you realize, okay, I'm more present.
Yeah.
It's not going to change how reactive I am. I mean, if we compare each other, we've golfed enough that you'll know that I react quickly. But I think the writing and it's a reset. It's a daily
Yeah.
reset,
Yeah, it is. And I don't
basically.
think to be true to it, we all react, we all have our moments, but I know for me, I don't tend to spend as much time there in that reactive mode as I used to. I'm more prone to get myself out of there quicker and to not spend a lot. We all have these ups and downs in our lives. Everybody does. I'm no different than anybody else. But what I've realized with the work I've done with meditations and journaling and reading is that I don't spend as much time down there in that dark space. I get down there once in a while, but I tend to prop myself up quicker. And that's, to me, that I truly credit the work I've done on the learning I've done about who I am through my meditations, reading, and my writing, my journaling. that to me has been an incredible tool that I've been lucky enough to have. That's gotten me to the point that I don't have to spend as much time down there anymore. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Well, what I love about you, Kenny, and is that you share. You're not afraid to share, and your curiosity leads you there. You're curious about other people, and you share your ideas, and you share that with me, which was an incredible gift. And I know you do with so many people. You always, no matter what happens, you always have an ear for how are you doing.
Yeah.
You're connecting. You're you're connecting with everybody. And that is, I think, ever since I've known you, you're saying, like you're not different than anybody else, and you have all these emotions and all this, which I don't really see all that much, except you'll laugh quicker. you
I
know,
will.
don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
Don't get in your way.
Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah.
that
I know. Get out of your
over
way.
and over and over
Yeah.
again. So you came with, you come very
So
equipped, and I
what are you
think
different? How's the Jean different today than you were 3 years ago?
much more focused. My focus is much better. I catch myself a lot quicker. It doesn't change the fact that I'm in traffic and this morning and like, what's wrong with you? And it doesn't change the fact that I do have these moments where I react. I mean, there's me who was reacting at 5, 6, 7 years old, and I'm still doing the same thing, except you said something a couple minutes ago. I don't stay in it longer.
That's so true.
I catch myself to, okay, this is really not good. Not good for my heart. It's not good for my brain. It's not good for my surrounding. So I put things in perspective. And the teaching of Marcus Aurelius is where he says everything's about your perception of things, how you perceive your experience. Control what you can control, and what's outside of your control, just let it go. And that resonates. It's not that complicated. Life is not that complicated. Things are meant to change. Nature changes, and that's one of his legacies. It's going to change. What you're seeing right now won't be the same in a few minutes from now.
Yeah.
So it's how you perceive it
Mm-hmm.
that will make it a big difference on how it resonates in you and the experience of others with you.
And I always talk about always getting out of our way. Like we tend to, for me, once I trained myself by my readings and my writings to get out of my way more, it made it easier for me to just be myself and to enjoy this journey that we're on and to not be so tough on myself, not to be so, it's not life or death. It's just this journey that we're on of living a full life and being there for our family. And I know how important your family is to you. And as my family is
Huge,
to me, yeah, huge.
huge.
And you live it. You just don't say it. You actually, I know you to live your life with your family. That's really, really important to you. You have they're an integral part of your life. And I love that about you. And I think that it's just this journey that we're on to keep growing, to keep experiencing things, and to get out of our way and don't get so upset about things and really just do the best we can is all that matters. And how I do it is by having the discipline every day of to read. Right now I'm reading Meditations. I read different books from different philosophers that are Stoic, and to learn as much as I can about Stoicism for me, and to have that be part of my life, and to write about it, and to be the best I can in that environment on that. What would you tell, Jean, to people that are stuck right now? Would you give them advice on anything, or
Well,
for you?
one thing that comes to mind, and I'm sorry I'm emotional about this, I'm not sorry I'm emotional about this, is be gentle with yourself. Accept who you are. We're all in the same journey together. We're all connected with one another, and you need help. We all need help. You reach out, but most of all, treat yourself like your best friend. Be very gentle, because all that matters is, the sooner you accept who you are, that it's enough, it's good, it's great, you're alive. That's my message to you, my message to my daughter. It's
Beautiful.
my message out there.
Can I add something to it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that it's important to listen to what you just said. And I think it's important to know that it takes work. It does take work. It's not going to happen by itself. It does
True.
take a discipline. And discipline's not a bad word. It does take the exercise, repetition, the exercise, and the imperfection of what we do to make a difference. To me, that's been the biggest thing, is that it's okay to have the imperfections of life and to be that, just be myself, and to learn and to keep growing. And at my age now, I'm still doing that. I'm still, every day is growing and learning, and I know you're doing it as well. So it's a good lesson for us to have, is to have that. So this has been fun. We're close to our time limit. There's so much more we can talk about, but this has been my friend. I've really appreciated you doing this. I know the scheduling was difficult at times to do this, but to share our personal journey of what the impact that we've had on each other and the impact that we get from things that are outside of us is very important. And people, if they wanted to get a hold of you, John, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, they can call the office.
Yeah.
They can call you.
They can call me, but you have a website, don't you?
I have a website.
What is
JeanPearson.com. Well, that's JeanPearson.com. That's a real estate.
Yeah, it's your real estate, but it's a connector for people to get a hold of you as well.
Yes,
all your numbers are there
call me, yes.
on that. And what do you do working on it? What's your next thing? You mentioned a movie or something that's coming out.
Well, I have a movie coming out. It's called Maintenant, and Then Now, where I play this character who's I'm the dad of a young man who's struggling through cancer, and as a dad, I'm also I have early Alzheimer. So it's very, very loaded, very emotional journey. And it's interesting that we're talking about, our lives. There are people out there that are, struggling with this. So that's the movie. It's their journey of going through adversity.
Yeah.
So it was amazing to film, and I can't wait to see it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
Are you going to publish what you're writing?
I don't know. Maybe.
Are you keeping the notes?
Oh, yeah. I have it here. There you go. Here's one.
Yeah.
Yes, I have
so
lots of books.
Even if it's just to keep for your family, your daughter and your wife to share, and your friends or your close friends. I mean, it's I'm sure there's a lot of intimate writing in that. Yeah.
I don't put it out there, but you're asking the question. Yes, I'm going to do something with this.
I'm hopeful for it. Jean, my friend, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And this has been fun. I appreciate your time and your effort and the difference you're making to myself and a lot of other people. So keep doing it. Keep reading meditations. Keep writing. And we will see each other soon, my friend.
Thank you.